All right, we're going to go ahead and do the very last embroidery in the Kimberbell Boulevard bench pillow, and we're doing Happy Halloween. So this is going to be really similar to the very first embroidery, and we're just going to go ahead and fold the background fabric in half to create a center fold, an inch up from the bottom, and then we'll cut our stabilizer. I already have that done. So this is what we're going to get started with. So you need an iron, you're going to need your thread, your best press. This is our background fabric, and I'm going to use some transport tape. I also have a black bobbin. I have a white bobbin already in the machine. You're going to need your glitter, your mylar, and your gold mylar. I have my scissor set here, which has all my little goodies, my little toolbox. I'm also going to use a hot ruler. I'm just going to use this one, which I really, really like. I'm also going to trim it down. When we're done, I'm going to use my 12.5 by 12.5. I have my 8.5 by 6.5 pop ruler and a rotary cutter. And I think we're ready to get started. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and let's get our fabric. So my fabric, you're going to notice, has kind of been pieced, and the reason for that is when I did this the first time, I pulled up the wrong design. And so I got confused, and then I trimmed it wrong too. So I'm going to do it one more time. So this was like the leftover fabric that I had. So I'm going to go ahead and take my, fabric, and let's go ahead and create that center crease. And then we also want to, and this has shape flex on the back of it, you're going to also want to fold it up an inch. So I'm going to use my hot ruler right here. That looks like about an inch. Perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over. And we're going to be trimming this, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect, but you want it to be close. Okay. All right, and then when I take it over to my machine, I'm going to go ahead and fold it just like this, and I'm going to lay it down like that, an inch up and fold it down the center. Let's go ahead, and I'm getting all my different Kimberbell quilts confused because some of them you have to tape the fabric down. We're not taping the fabric down for this. We're just going to go ahead and hoop our stabilizer. I have a piece of tearaway stabilizer. Let's go ahead and tighten that up. And I finally found my hoop tightener. And I'm going to take us over to the machine. Let's go ahead and we are doing Twilight. So when I first did this, I just went ahead and picked this design because it was the one that came up first. But I thought I was doing this design, so I got really confused. So this one here is going to be the last one that you're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and set it. I'm going to go ahead and slide on my hoop. And let's hit embroidery. And the first thing it's going to do is it's going to do a placement line. So I'm going to put in a neutral color. I was going to use this. This is like an off-white, a cream. But I want you to be able to see that placement line. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my go-to gray. And get a piece of tape here. So like I said, down an inch, fold it in half. And there's a little notch right here. I think you can see that. I'm going to center my center line to that notch and lay the 1-inch line across and then just unfold it. Fold this back. Go ahead and put a piece of tape in. I think you're getting used to this because this is how we did all our squares. And then just go ahead and stitch the tack down. I like to kind of run my hand along, not under, but in front of, and then just kind of lay that fabric down nice and flat so it doesn't get any puckers. Okay, so what we've done here is we've gone ahead and done these steps. I forget I have lighting here. Again, don't spill a giant glass of water all over your instructions or they'll look like mine. But we've gone ahead and done this step right here too. So we're on step 3 and it does say change your bobbin thread to black. We are going to stitch the stem of the flower. So I just have a black Filtech bobbin. It's nice to have bobbins, pre-wound bobbins in other colors because sometimes you need them. And I'm going to change my upper thread to black as well. And we're going to do the stem. And just hit start. And then we're going to change our bobbin back to white. You're going to be putting white in the upper. And you need your piece of mylar. And we're going to get the iridescent piece of mylar. So that's going to go down. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to put our white bobbin back in. And let's put white thread in the upper. And then go ahead and stitch the mylar flower placement line. Okay, let's go ahead and tape this down and just make sure you tape outside of that placement line. You don't want to be picking out the mylar. And it's also nice to have a pair of tweezers handy. So I'm going to go ahead and take this out. Oh, I don't know why I did that. You're going to leave your white in because it is going to do the inner flower first. So we're going to do white orange, and then yellow. So those are going to be the colors we're going to be stitching. But let's start with the white. And then have your orange thread ready. Okay, go ahead and put your orange thread in. This is going to be the middle of the flower petals, just like candy corn. And then have your yellow ready. All right, we're going to put in our yellow. It's going to be the outer part of the petal. Don't put that orange away yet, though. Okay, we're going to put black back in. This is going to be the outline stitch. All right, what you're going to want to do next, directions say to, let's see if we can get it to focus in. Guess not. Okay, so it says to remove the tape, tear away excess mylar, and then we're going to leave the black in, and we're going to stitch the center of the flower. So let's just go ahead, pull this forward, and pull in towards the embroidery design. It's always, you can get the tape and the excess mylar all in one fell swoop. And if you can't get it off, then you can come in with some tweezers and get these extra pieces. Or you can just stitch right over it too. It's going to cover that most of that up. I'm just going to leave that because I love the mylar. And I'm going to slide it back on and then go ahead and stitch out the black flower center. Okay, go ahead and put your yellow in, and you are going to do the light mylar placement line. I'm putting that same goldish yellow that I used in my candy corn, and it looks so cute with that mylar underneath. And just hit start, and you want to have your gold piece of mylar ready to go, and make sure you're using the gold side and not the silver side. I'm just going to lay that down. I'm not even going to, whoops, tape it. I'm just going to do the decorative fill. All right, you want to remove the excess mylar. Again, just pull in towards your design. Leave in the yellow because it's going to stitch the fairy light eyelet stitch. And next color you're going to need is the black. Or I'm sorry, this is actually, I'm sorry, this is the side outline, and then we're gonna stitch the fairy light eyelet stitch, and then we'll do the black post. So just hit start. You could do a different yellow. I'm just using the same. So this is step 13. And let's go ahead and put your black in. And Kimberbell's digitizing is so fantastic. I feel like the fills just looked so good for all of these. Just hit start, and it is going to do the lamppost. All right, so that is the lamppost. That was step number 14. Now we're on to step number 15, and 15 is to stitch the pumpkin stem fill stitch. And I just picked a nice warm brown. So go ahead and put your brown in. This is going to do the stem on your pumpkin. And then we're going to do the pumpkin. So you need to grab your piece of glitter and remove that protective coating. So when I do this, I like to pinch and just, it'll come away really easily if you do that. You're gonna see my piece is smaller than what they call for, just because there's gonna be excess. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in orange, and there's gonna be a placement stitch first. I'm going to put a little piece of tape to put this down. So let's go ahead and lay down our glitter, and I'm going to put a little piece here and a little piece here. That should be outside of the stitch line. Go ahead and do your tack down stitch. And we're going to trim 1/8 of an inch away from the stitch line. And heat up your iron too, because you're going to be ironing that down after we trim. I did one of these pumpkins where I chose a darker burnt orange, and it faded in, like you couldn't even see it. So this orange is a little bit lighter than the glitter, and I like it because then you can see the accent. Okay, so that was that finished up step number 17. Now we're going to go ahead and trim it. And these are the scissors I like to use when I'm trimming. They're single curved and flat on the end. And I like to pull my whole hoop out when I'm going 1/8 of an inch. So I can turn my hoop as I trim. I'm going to take out the tape. And this is your finishing stitch. So make it look pretty. And heat up your iron because we're going to press this. You might need a pressing cloth. I've got a Teflon sheet that I'll use. It's my glasses hitting the filming arm. It is so cute. I love it. Okay. Before you slide it on, let's take it over to our iron. And I have a Teflon sheet right here. And if you're watching this, it's you can pause your video anytime. Just pause, get your stuff, relax. I think it's 15 to 20 seconds. I usually do about 10, and that always seems to be more than enough. And I don't know if it could get any cuter than that. Let's come on over and finish up our embroidery. I'm going to slide that back on. And it says to stitch the pumpkin face fill. I'm going to take out my orange. I'm going to put my black in. And we're almost done with this one. This one says a total of 10 minutes for the stitching time. I have 30 minutes of video so far. I always find it interesting how much time these really take. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and hit start, stitch out the face, and then we are going to stitch the bat, and that's going to be it. This embroidery will be done. We're just going to have to press it and square it. All right, the last thing you have to stitch is the bat, so just go ahead and hit start. Make sure your iron's hot again because we are going to square this up. All right, let's go ahead and pop it out. Come on over here. You're going to need a seam ripper. So let me grab my favorite. Well, actually, I'm going to just grab this one because it's close. Okay, so go ahead and remove all your stitches. And when I did this for the first time, I totally squared it up wrong. But now that, like I said, this was the first one that I did. So I like to get it going, cut the thread from the back, and grab and just cut the, I can get the back thread to come up, my bobbin thread. I feel like this is the quickest way. And this is just going to be an extra square for me because I've already done my pillow. Okay, let's pop it out of the hoop. Take off that piece of tape. You don't want to press that. Let's rip away all the tear away. I like to use the tip of a pair of scissors to get the rest of it. All right. This is pretty flat. Looks pretty darn good. But I am going to give it a little bit of a press. I like to spray it. My iron's nice and hot, so I'm going to spray it from the back side with some Best Press. This fabric's non-directional, so I'm not going to worry. But I usually will press one direction and then the other direction. And I like to lean into it and get my whole body weight in there, because what you're trying to do is press the design into your mat and kind of spread the fabric around it to make it lay really flat. All right, and that looks great. So now I'm going to get my 12 by 12 mat, or sometimes I'll use my 17 by my 17-inch mat. So when I trimmed this one down for the first time, I trimmed it wrong. I got confused with the instructions. So you are going to be nestling. So you're going to be nestling your 4.5 by 6.5 inside of your 6.5 by 8.5. And then it's nice to use this ruler too, because it has a 1/4 inch mark that you can use, because it does want you, it says in the instructions, finish block to 4.5 by 8.5. You're going to visually center the design using both your 4.5 and 6.5 by 8.5 orange pop ruler nestled, and place ruler with base of lamp a 1/4 inch above inner bottom edge of large ruler. So when I did this the first time, I did it a 1/4 inch to the small ruler. Well, when I cut everything, so I did it like this, or actually, did I do it like that? 1/4 inch to this, yes. But then I took this out and I cut it to the large ruler. So you are going to do a 1/4 inch. So just use that mark there. And I am just lining it up with the bottom of the pumpkin and the bottom of the lamppost. And I'm going to visually center my design. So I'm going to move it over a little bit to the left. Actually, what am I doing again? This is what I want again. This is what I want to help you avoid doing. We're going to go ahead and center it using the large ruler. So 1/4 inch from the large ruler, bottom of the pumpkin, bottom of the lamppost, and then we're going to go ahead and, let's see, I'm right about there. Right about, oh, it's pretty centered. And I was just looking at this little symbol here, the pop. So when I centered it, I'm right on the edge of my lamppost over here, and then I'm on the edge of my pumpkin. So that's pretty centered. So that looks good to me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to nestle the smaller ruler inside of the bigger ruler. We're going to do 2 cuts, cut here and cut here. Then we'll take the smaller ruler out, and then we'll cut on the top and the bottom. So let's do that one more time. You are going to go 1/4 inch using the large ruler, and you can use this ruler here and your 1/4 inch mark, making sure it's lined up on the bottom of the post and the bottom of the pumpkin. Okay, and then center it. I'm an equal distance from this edge to the pumpkin and from the lamppost to the edge to that ruler. Now you're going to put your smaller ruler in, the 4.5 by 6.5. We're going to make 2 cuts with this one. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way on the left side and all the way on the right side. I'm going to swing this around. And while I'm swinging it, I'm holding the pop rulers in place just because every once in a while they'll get squirrely and they might move. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut this side. Okay, now we're going to take this one out. And I'm going to cut top and bottom, or bottom and top. So let me go ahead. I'm going to cut bottom first. And then I'm going to cut the top. All right, you are going to have to extend those cuts. I'm just lining it up with the line on my cutting mat, and then I'm going to put my ruler down, and I'm putting it I'm just going to go ahead and cut. Okay. Now I'm going to swing this around, and I'm going to do the other cuts. Where's this one going? Let's see. Oh, it looks like it's exactly 4.5 inches. And there we go. Perfect. Not like the one that I did where I was too far from the bottom. And this is going to be the last block.